Welcome to Let's Talk About It. A podcast gets a platform for real talk, real people, real topics, real conversations. Enjoy the show and enjoy this journey.
Welcome to Let's Talk About It, a podcast that gives a platform for real talk, real people, real topics, real conversations. Today, we are talking about marriage, okay? Now, marriages overall are down 53% since 2010. Another fun fact is Black marriages are also down since 2010 by 43%. Now, my guest today is my first married couple. They would talk about the ups and downs of marriage in their opinion. This is a couple that on social media is always traveling, which I love together. They're a close-knit couple. They actually dress together too, right? Which I love that right there. Then we go get into they do with social media skits, which I'm always laughing about on TikTok and Facebook. I actually love that right there. And then also a house divided. We got a Cowboy fan and a Go Birds Eagles fan. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're going to do. And also, we're going to get into their nonprofit organization called Tendra Nonprofit Learning, helping other young adults navigate through life. That's a real important topic right there. And I can't wait to talk to them about. I would like to introduce my guests, Donnie and Tendra Driggins. How you doing, guys?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing, Lou?
All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've been knowing me and Don used to work together back in Coca-Cola, way back in the day. I'm not gonna share our ages and nothing like that. But it's been a minute.
Man. Been a minute.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot going on.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm gonna tell the story how way I came and helped him out later on. And he left my ass at stop because he had to get back home for some reason. But that's okay. All right, guys, let's get into something, Rickman. Let's talk about you guys right here. And I want, who is the better person between both of you to tell how you first met?
I can.
There you go. Tess, you go right ahead.
So we met in Penrose at Burger King. Actually, this is the story that I tell. He actually remembered me from 1989 in Barcher Motivation. But from my perspective, I met him at Burger King in Penrose back in 1992.
Real quick, for those who don't know what Penrose is, that's in Philly. We both from Philly. So I had
Hey, come on now. Come on.
You know.
Come on, Penrose. Come on, go ahead.
Donnie was working behind the counter. He was tossing burgers and, just doing his thing. And I was with a friend of mine and we were just having lunch, but it happened that my friend knew Donnie. I came in, I thought he was cute. I was like, oh, okay, let's see what's going on here. And my friend knew him. I said, hey, that's your buddy. What's up with him? I asked him for some information. Well, lo and behold, Donnie was doing the same thing with Mike, was asking him, is that your girl? Are y'all together? And he was like, no, that's just a friend of mine. So I actually went up to the counter later on and I was the more assertive one. And I said, hey, here's my phone number. Gave him my little business card. It was like a little business card. And I had created something because I worked at Kinko's. So I gave him my little business card and said, give me a call, and let's, see if we can just chat it up. And so he called me later on that night and we actually started communicating. We started talking and, one thing led to another and we got together and we ended up being boyfriend and girlfriend. He later went into the military and, while he was in boot camp, I kept writing to him, kept keeping him encouraged. He snuck and called me while he was at boot camp one time, knowing that he wasn't supposed to, but he did. And, because he missed me. And when he came back, we were still together. Later on, we started talking about getting married and, being together and getting engaged and all that. That was back in 92. So it was quick because we really felt a connection.
Okay.
But then, you know, that he left and went to Japan, and things kind of got a little haywire. Communication was bad. Separation of us for such a long distance.
Yeah.
You know, things just kind of turned for the worse, and we broke up sometime in 93, around February-ish, you know, 93. And then the wedding was off, you know, no more talking of getting married and all that. And we just kind of went our separate ways, and never talked again ever until 27 years later. I was sitting on a couch, and I'm a little OCD when it comes to my phone and these little red things that show up on the apps, you know, letting you know you got notifications. I can't stand having those on my phone. So I had a notification from Messenger, and I couldn't figure out how to get to it because it was like inside a notification. It was a notification inside of a notification. So I couldn't figure out how to get to it. But once I did figure out how to get to it, I saw this name and I said, Donnie Driggins. I said, my gosh, I hadn't heard from him in like years. And so I, you know, responded and I said, hey, how you doing? You know, we just kind of started chatting it up, going back and forth. And then we decided to meet up, and we got together and back in 2019, and the rest is history. He actually was in Delaware at the time. I was in Florida. You know, we both had our lives that we were living, you know, in separate states, but he decided, you know, we got really close. Things really just kind of almost felt like nothing ever stopped. You know, we just kind of continued this awesome communication. We just really fit together like a glove. Everything was just perfect. Almost, it was almost too perfect to be, you know, to be honest. And then, you know, come February, you know, I was like, you know, what you gonna do? And February of 2020, he was like, I'm moving to Florida. And I was like, oh,
that was it.
It's like, it. Okay. And
so he moved to Florida during COVID.
Oh yeah.
It was before COVID. It was before COVID. So remember, it was February 2020. Yeah, COVID started like the end of March. So yeah.
Right. So I mean, you know, it's just like she said. We were together when we were younger. Life kicked in. 27 years later, we reconnected. But the thing about that 27 years, man, it's like so much time goes by.
Yeah.
And there's so much growth in there. You're like, yo, well, do we even still have the same likes and dislikes? You know, what did we talk about back then? You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, so it was kind of like meeting somebody all over again. And it just so happens that when we started communicating, it was like two magnets, man. And I'm gonna be real with you. It just came together. It's kind of like how, like, you take relationships, which is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And you got different people in your life for different reasons. You know, you might got somebody you hang out with, talk trash with, somebody that you go just snuggle with, somebody that you can just, you know, do different things. Or you might have multiple people. Yeah. So with us, I find that those multiple things that I might need separate people for, I get with her. And my thing is, wow, I never knew, you know, what that felt like until I came across it. You know what I mean? Most people don't know. You know what I mean? You see somebody you like, I like you, like me. Then throughout the relationship, you know, you start realizing, well, there's so many things I could compromise on, they compromise on, and then, you know, people tend to kind of grow apart. You know, but my thing is, man, you know, it's so many things that when you look at boxes, we check for each other. Yeah. I'm like, man, I can get down with this. You know, she's my personal comedian, you know what I'm saying? My personal chef, you know what I'm saying? My homie level friend, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man, I love it.
You know what I'm saying? Everything is good. I was like, yo, this is crazy. And, you know, and we like to travel.
Like football.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Everything is good. So football season roll around.
Oh my goodness. All right. You know what? You guys, man, we'll get into football later on. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because you know, we can get all day about your little Cowboys, but I'm gonna let that go for right now.
Okay.
Sandra, this question's for you. Okay. How did Donnie ask you to marry him?
Oh man.
Wow. Wow.
So we had plans to go a couple places in 2022. We had places, we had scheduled to go to Arizona to visit Sedona and the Grand Canyon.
Nice.
These were bucket list items. And also to go to Hawaii.
Oh,
And then we also had a trip scheduled for Philly in December.
all right.
So then it was all kind of around his birthday-ish, you know. And I wasn't really thinking about anything because I mean we were just living our lives. We were just enjoying life and just having a good time. And I never thought anything. And so I went to Arizona. We were at the Grand Canyon. I mean, it was so beautiful. And it was just this moment in my head. I was like, this would be a good place to propose, you know, because it was just so beautiful. But it didn't happen. So, you know, I just
Damn, Johnny. Oh, man.
you know, it just didn't happen. So, you know, I never thought about it. I was like, you know, whatever. Then we went to Hawaii. Now, this was Donnie actually really wanted to go to Hawaii. I wanted to go to Hawaii, but it wasn't like at the priority of my list. I just wanted to check it off as a state that I visited because we're trying to visit all 50 states. Yeah. So, you know, that's kind of where I was with Hawaii. But we went to Hawaii and we had dinner reservations. And I said, hey, if it was nighttime, the sun was going down. And I said, oh, man, that ocean looks so pretty. I said, let's go stand by the ocean. Our reservations are not quite here yet. So let's just go over there by the ocean. Yeah. So we went by the ocean and I was just kind of looking at the ocean. We were just talking about it. It was just so pretty out there. Then it got really dark. And then he just kind of pulled me to him and he started kissing me. And I said, I was like, hey, we got to get back. Our reservations are, you know, in about 5 minutes. We need to get on back. And he was like, well, I need to talk to you about something. And I was like, okay, well, let's talk at the dinner table because our reservations are like in 5 minutes and we need to get back to it. And then he just, you know, pulled me to his face. He looked at me in my face and he said, I just got one question for you. And I was like, okay, what's the question? And then he started kissing me like, and then he said, will you marry me, with the kiss? And then he got on his knees with the ring. And I was like,
now,
oh my God.
Now, Lou, you know, she said, I was real smooth with it when I did it. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? The sun was setting just right. You know what I mean? I was like, yo, I had to make sure the moment was, you know what I'm saying? I had to get the glisten out of the eyes. I was like, yeah, this is the moment. Because you know what I'm saying? I didn't know when I was going to do it. I just had to wait for the moment to present itself. Yeah. And my thing was, all right, this felt right. You know what I'm saying? He
had this massive ring that he showed me, and I was like, whoa. It was like,
had to get in the light. You know what I'm saying?
You know, so and the thing about it is Donnie's such a private person. You know, he made it very intimate. There was literally nobody on the beach until I heard these two people in the background going, he's about to propose.
Yeah.
And you know, so we had like two people in the background that saw it, and then they started clapping after I said yes and jumped on them. And then they said, hey, do you guys want us to record it? You can reenact it and we can record it for you and take some pictures. And I said, you know, that would be great. That would be great. So we actually got a recording of it. We have pictures of it from these two nice people that took pictures for us. But we had to reenact it, you know. So, but that was fine. But the initial was definitely a surprise. He chose Hawaii.
Yeah, it was good.
You know, Grand Canyon and Sedona, Arizona, which is one of my favorite places. That was me. That was my place. But his place was Hawaii.
Yeah. So, you know.
Okay, player, I see what you're doing.
You know what I'm saying? I had to put a little extra on that thing. You know?
Okay. You know what? When people see this, man, first of all, females will be jealous and brothers will be hating on you. You know what I'm saying?
I know, right?
They gonna be hating on you. Now, let's get into the next one here. Oh, damn, I made. Okay. This is a question for both of you. What is one thing you both remembered on on your wedding day when you got married? One thing you both remember.
Wow.
I guess for me, it was seeing him in that Marine uniform. God, I wanted that so bad when we initially got together in 92.
Yeah.
We were planning a Marine wedding. And I was determined I wanted my Marine wedding. And when I saw him in his Marine uniform, I was like, wow, he looks so good.
I was sharp, brother. I was like, dress blues.
Oh my God.
Yo, it was a good time. It was a good time. It was a good time. For me, it was when I was standing at the altar, and she was walking in with her father, and it was playing that music. It's that song, 1,000 Years. It was just the music and the ambience, everything, man. I was just like, I was just caught up in it, man. And when her father walked her up to me, he's retired Navy. So he was in his Navy uniform. I'm in my Marine Corps uniform.
I love that.
And the way he gave her to me was through a military salute. He gave him a salute. I gave him a salute back as to let him know I got this right now moving forward. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that I'm never going to forget, man.
Bro, that's deep.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I was like,
wow. Yeah. Oh man, that you guys' story is crazy. I love this. This is you talking about jealousy. It's gonna be a lot of jealousy.
Oh man,
bro.
Listen, man. We just have a good time, man. We really do. Yeah.
I mean, they're not gonna be jealous about you being a Cowboy fan.
You know
what I'm saying?
Five rings, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Anyway, next question. Here we go.
I'll wait till we get into
when we get to that section.
Exactly. All right. What do you guys most like about being married today?
Oh man, I love having fun with him. I mean, I broke him out of his shell, and because he was not having the whole TikTok thing, but I broke him out of his shell, and he started having fun with it, and we just started having a good time and laughing and joking and just playing around, being silly and stupid. It's just just so much fun. Just being married to him.
I can't emphasize enough, man, as far as relationships. Our relationship, in my opinion, there's so many different, and the easiest way for me to explain it is how I was trying to say it earlier, as far as different people in your life. You got your homies, you got different people, you just kick it with, so forth. I get a lot of that all in her. So it makes this thing that we had together fun. We just laugh and joke. I don't necessarily have to be Donnie the husband. I could just be Donnie the homie. You know what I mean? And, same thing with her. It's not so much as touching my wife, but, T, my, person I'm just people watching with, or we watching a game with, or, we talking politics with, or we just kind of just hanging out doing nothing. You know what I mean? So it makes the whole thing fun. And especially, being in a previous marriage, both of us coming out of previous marriages, you see the differences in different things. And my thing is, this right here, man, it's just fun. It should be fun. It shouldn't be work. Every relationship, no matter what it is, you got to work at it. But it's just like having a homie that you ain't seen in a long time. I ain't talked to you directly since, we going back to the early 2000s. You know what I'm saying? Sure. And it's like that with us. Like, we don't worry about, smothering each other. We kind of just like, all right, well, I go to work, she go to work, or she, talk to her girlfriends, I go do whatever. But we just connect. And it's hard, I think, for people to realize that, because you get so caught up in the physical part, like you like me. And then we start realizing, well, we don't have a whole lot more in common outside of the fact I like you and you like me. I like this, you like that. So now you're compromising, and every marriage is a compromise. But when you compromise to the point to where you're not happy, then you start finding, different elements to substitute what you're lacking in your marriage, to the point to where you're like, it's like this. Now you're like, man, I don't even really want to be with you now, or I'm only with you because we got little ones. Little ones is like this now. And
right.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, man? That's just life. So my thing, man, is I feel like, the way we connected, I could not have, predicted this in a million years, man. My thing is we laugh so much, more than I ever laughed in my life. And once again, it's just like, you being with somebody, all right, well, we good with this, but we can only talk about this, So then it's like, all right, I need to go call my boy up so we can talk this, so I can kind of get that relief. Well, she's my relief valve with everything, you know what I'm saying? So we just like to just have fun. So when you see us, that's just us being us. So when she talks about, getting me out of my shell, that's real rap right there, man. Because to me, I have a whole lot of introverted elements towards me. But he's
an extrovert.
Right. I'm not a dancer. I'm not really a talker, but I get with her, and she makes me feel very comfortable within our space for me to just kind of get out there. I'd be out there and I'd be looking crazy, and she'd be like, baby, I got you. And I'd be like, yeah, baby, you know what I'm saying? I know you got me. I don't care what nobody think. You know what I'm saying?
You guys are each other's best friend.
Yes, man.
Yes.
So it
he told me it was yesterday or the day before yesterday. He said, you not only, that homie lover friend, but you also like my counselor.
Dude, she's like my therapist, my personal comedian, my chef, just, sometimes I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, man, I could be laying back on the couch just talking to you. And she's like, my professor, I'm doing the school thing, she break it down to me. I'm like, yeah. I'm just like, man, it's crazy, man. But I think that, when you find that, and I'm sure people that have longevity in their marriages, they're the first ones to tell you, well, we didn't get to be together this long without having some stuff to go through.
Oh yeah.
And my thing is, God bless them, because you that growth, rate, you can very easily grow apart. So my thing is, I really believe that back then when we were younger, when I was 18, I wasn't ready. I wasn't mature enough to handle what we have right now.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I look at my younger version of myself, what I'm saying? Back when I still had hair, I was looking right, you know what I mean? I wasn't ready for this. I wasn't mature enough, Now it's like, man, I can appreciate, what we have. And I'm just like, man, this thing is great.
Bro, this is
easy. Yeah, it's really it's easy when you're with somebody, that you're very compatible with.
That's the key.
Obviously, anybody who's been through different relationships, they could probably point out what was the reason why they left that relationship. That was their breaking point. So with us, my thing is, it's very easy, which makes it fun. So it's like this, but it all boils down to our communication. We speak to each other the same love language, which allows us to grow and to blossom. So my thing is, man,
it's a respect. Mutual respect.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that right there. That's what leads me to the next one. What is the best decision you two have made together?
Ooh. Oh my gosh. Probably, I would think probably to build together. I know that's really important to us to build wealth together. Mm-hmm. So we are, I'm into finances and business and so forth, stock market and what have you. And I like to see my wealth grow. And he wants to build with me and build together. So we made a conscious decision to make sure that we build this thing together. The nonprofit, he's on my board of directors. He helps with that, as well as, our financial well-being and wealth. We want to build together, so we protect that. And that is something that we hold dear. We're not going to let anybody come in and take it from us. We want to build that thing together.
Absolutely.
So I think that's been a really good decision that we've made. And just also living our bucket list dreams. So what we talk to each other, and we got this bucket list, and I'm like, okay, what do you want to put on this bucket list? This is my bucket list. This is what I got. So let's go ahead and add your stuff on here too. And we want to go ahead and fulfill that, whatever that is on the bucket list. He wants to get his bachelor's degree. And I said, I have 3 master's degrees. I will help you get there. So, we'll go ahead and I'll be your teacher whenever you don't understand stuff. So I help him with that. So that, just understanding what we need from each other and making sure that we don't stop at anything to make that happen. Oh. That's been the best decision, to make sure that we make those things happen that we want to happen.
I'm loving it.
I think too.
For me, will probably be the fact that when we got together, I was coming out of a situation. She was coming out of a situation.
Gotcha.
And we both made a conscious decision that through the storm, we were going to ride this thing out and see where it takes us in life.
Love it.
That right there, it could have went, you know what? You stay where you at. I stay where I'm at. You know what? We connected one time before. Actually, you know what? Let me be honest with you. My first connection with Tedra wasn't 92, it was back in 88.
88, yeah.
Right. I was in my classroom, and she came walking in her girlfriend. I was a freshman, she was a junior. And I'm sitting there, freshmen, don't nobody look at the freshman. You know what I mean? So she came, what I'm saying? She come in with her girlfriend, this 88, with the big earrings and the mushroom, and the leather trench. And I'm like, damn. You see,
whole salt pepper look. Did she have the whole salt pepper look?
She had the whole salt pepper thing going on. Her and her girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting there like, upperclassmen, they fine. You know what I'm saying? So that was then. And then I didn't see her again until 4 years later. And then we got together. And unfortunately, that timing was off because I was already committed to going to the military. Gotcha. And then it separated us again. And then we reconnected again for a third time, 2019. So being as though life had kicked in, we could have just chucked it up to, man, once again, maybe this just isn't a good time.
Yeah.
And we consciously made a decision to move forward, to just see, hey, listen, maybe this is meant to be. It's the third time life has just kind of brought us into each other's circle. Awesome. It may work, it may not. But you know what? Let's see where this goes. And that was probably the biggest, as far as decision that we could have made, that I thought was the best decision to persevere through everything that was going on, because that's what got us to where we are now. Because my thing was, I was so the connection. See, when we first started talking, it was like, I didn't see her. I'm up in Delaware, she down here in Florida. The communication is the base of our foundation. It was just on such a high level of connection that I was like, man, you know how, in the beginning stages, you could be talking to somebody, you talk to them for hours, And over time, it's like,
what are we
talking about? We're still in that stage where we can just, it was just like, man, we just.
Sometimes we just talk
we just be talking
for hours, just sitting there, just talking to each other.
That's it, just talking, just nurturing the relationship.
Yeah.
I love this, bro. I love this.
Dude, man, it's great, when you're able to be with somebody, and they just, make everything better. And for us, we, obviously there's no perfect people, but we're probably as close to perfect for each other, you know, that's how it feels, man. You know, and
That right there, my man. That right
yeah,
there. Before
yeah.
I get on to my next question here, T, you say you got 3 master's degrees. Can you say what they are? Because I'm curious about this one. I'm curious about this one.
So I have a MBA, a Master's in Business Administration. I have a Master's of Management with an emphasis in Human Resources, and I have a Master's of Organizational Leadership. Three different business type masters. I did just truthfully, I did pursue the doctorate program, and I got as far as my dissertation, where I actually started writing my manual, but it got really expensive, and I couldn't afford it anymore. So the school that I was going to, they allowed me to turn what I already did into a master's degree. So that's how I got the 3rd master's degree. I turned the doctorate into a master's degree because it just got too expensive and I couldn't finish. But you know, and all in all, I almost finished my manual. I did my dissertation on transformational leadership with emotional intelligence and how we can increase the self-efficacy of our employees, which basically means they're motivating leader that can help drive and produce high-performing teams. So, and you can do that through emotional intelligence, basically psychology. And so that's what I did my dissertation on, but didn't finish. But that's how I got the 3 master's degrees.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? And I'm just a dude with a high school diploma that likes trucks.
Hey, bro, same here, man. Listen, I got a high school diploma too.
Yeah.
This is crazy. All right, listen, I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
What is one thing you guys would tell your 5-year ago self about? So 5 years ago, everything now, what would you say to that 5-year ago self?
Don't worry, everything's gonna be okay.
I would say those thoughts that you were having as far as, you know, wanting something extra and so forth, not really knowing what that was, don't stop pursuing that, you know, because that's what kind of led me to her. Just, you know, not wanting to settle, you know, kind of like with people that, you know, when they're trying to figure out what they want to do with life, you know, you might not want to know. It might be all over the place. Don't stop that just because somebody's telling you, well, you need to kind of just settle down on this and stop chasing. My thing is, man, keep chasing, you know, keep following what it is you're trying to follow. My thing is, you know, I believe that passion, you know, is something that was going on with inside me. And, you know, I would tell my younger self, continue doing it. You're going to still make mistakes. You're going to still screw it up. But that's part of growing. That's part of life.
Amen.
That's the experience, you know, and that's what kind of led me back to her for the 3rd time.
100%. I got a good question for you guys, and I don't know who wants to answer it, but you can both can. How do you guys communicate when you have a disagreement?
Okay, I'll go first on this one. To be honest with you, we haven't really had a big disagreement in a long time. And reason being is because we understand being very direct with whatever it is gets the fastest results to that situation. So whatever it is, throw it out there, and we just going to deal with be respectful. Throw it out there. We'll address it and move on.
Good.
My thing is, she makes me feel comfortable enough that I can let her know whatever insecurities that I have. Now, see, for me, our biggest thing was my wife is very transparent. I'm not as transparent as she is. So some of the things she was sharing with me made me uncomfortable, you know, and I'm like, that's too much information. I don't need to have these images in my head. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
You know, and you're like, well, I want to know. Well, I don't want to know. You know what I mean? So sometimes it was things that kind of just floated out in the atmosphere. I'm like, man, I really didn't need to know that. You know what I'm saying? Now I got to deal with this.
That was one of the biggest challenges because he's very much correct. I am a 100% transparent person.
Yeah.
Being a leader, my people, my employees, they appreciate transparency. That's what they want. That's what they like in business. So that's what I'm used to. But you can't always be that way in a marriage.
Yeah.
You got to keep some things to yourself. And I was bringing that out in the relationship, and I had to learn how to bring that back, take a step back from that, and say, look, this is who you are, but that's not what he wants. So you need to look at the things that he wants, as well as, you know, try to work it out with each other so that you both are comfortable. And so I had to work through that, and that took some time. But once we did work through that, you know, everything was fine after that, because that was like the biggest hang up. Was that whole transparency thing, and that caused some conflict. But once again, we just continue to communicate it out. We would give each other our space. You know, you go to your corner, I go to my corner. We go ahead and just have our space, and then, you know, when time was right, we come together and we say, hey, we need to talk about this. You know, and then. So that probably happened the first maybe 2 years of us living together. And then after that, it wasn't even 2 years, maybe a year and a half. And then after that, I mean, it was almost like smooth sailing. I think the last time we even argued about something was probably when we was going to George's restaurant.
Oh man, that was
and I was telling you, you got to go up there and make the right turn. He was like, I can't make the right turn.
Oh yeah. She trying to, you know, I'm trying to drive, get us where we need to go. Hey, listen, I got this. No, but
I've been through that before.
Yeah, but what she was saying is true. You know, some things, man, you know, as individuals, you have your beliefs about relationships. And to you as an individual, you may say, well, something that might be common sense to you as far as the guy rule or whatever, the man code or whatever, it's not necessarily common sense to somebody else. So you're like, well, she's telling you this, and you're sitting there like, why are you telling me that? I don't need to know that. Whatever it could be. You know what I mean? So in your mind, you're like, what? I didn't ask you that. So now I got these images. And I got to deal with this. How do I process
images.
this? And
so you already had them in your head already.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? Although this is 15, 20 years ago, I'm thinking about it today because you did that. So my thing is, some things you don't even know how you're going to respond to because you don't know. You've never been in that situation, and you deal with it in real time.
Gotcha.
So me dealing with it in real time, I wasn't processing it very well, you know, so I had to talk to her about that, and we had to understand what triggers were, you know, and respecting one another's personal space and, you know, moving forward, you know, those hot spots, you know, I respect her hot spots. She respects mine. I probably got a little bit more hot spots than she do, you know, but that's just who I am. You know what I'm saying? You know?
Listen, I want to ask you guys, what is your interpretation of happy wife, happy life?
I'll let him answer that.
I mean, I look at.
Be careful, Donnie. You got be on point on this one, bro. Be on
point. You know, as a husband, you know, my thing is seeing my wife smile, you know, means the world to me. You know, makes me feel like I'm doing my job as a husband. And sometimes you don't always make the right decisions.
Yeah.
You know, part of this thing that we call marriage, it's a partnership. It's give and take. You know, so I tend to in any relationship, I think it's important to be able to read body language and understand.
Yes.
You know, just because she said this, her body is saying something else.
Yeah,
You
bro.
know?
I mean, listen, I never understood that. Out of all these years, man, I'm keep on preaching, but I never understand. I don't think I ever get it. But go ahead.
I mean, you know, so it's like it's one of them things where it's no different than your communication with somebody, man. You got to be able to read the room, read the situation. So sometimes, you know, I need to be mindful of the words that I speak, because obviously, you know, just as equally as me, you know, doing something I should be doing, my tongue can create, you know, as much damage. So my thing is, man, I'm very respectful as far as what I say to my wife. You know, although we play and we joke but it's very playful in a respectful way.
Love it.
Know? And my thing is, I tend to get enjoyment out of just seeing that smile. So sometimes, you know, you find yourself just doing things, you know, for the sake of, you know, being playful, keeping it lighthearted and so forth, because that person that you have with you, you know, means that much to you, you know. And like I said, I wouldn't, not only she's my wife, but she's my friend. You know, I'm not trying to hurt.
Best friend, bro. Best friend.
Absolutely. I'm not trying to hurt that. So no different than, you know, like I said, whether or not it was, you know, my homie or somebody, I respect the relationship. So my thing is, you know, I know we minimize it to happy life, although I like happy spouse, happy house.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
I like that too, because it's a give and take. I mean,
absolutely.
We have to work with each other. It's not all about me. Yeah, he put me on a pedestal. He treats me like a queen, but he's my king. He's also, you know, I treat him like my king. And that's important that we do that. And we have that mutual respect. And just like, I like seeing him smile too. I always tell him, I said, I love it when you smile, you know, he'd be cheesing. And whenever I don't see him smile, I know it's one thing that will always make him laugh, no matter what. And it's just one sound. And that's our love call that we have with each other. And I could do it right now, and he'll just bust out laughing.
You said love call? I gotta hear this. What is it? One more time.
It was some movie.
Where it came from, it's our little call sign. Wherever we at, we know we make that call. We know it's each other. So basically, it came from the Disney movie Maleficent.
Yeah.
And we were sitting there watching this movie Maleficent, and they had these tiny little creatures on there. And this one creature, whenever he said her name, he would never say Maleficent. He would say,
you know, so
and we just bust out laughing when we heard it. We could not stop laughing. We was just crying, laughing when we heard it. And that just became my thing.
Right, that's just our thing. you know, the little things, man, you know, it's what keeps us connected. You know, somebody look at this and be like, man, they tripping.
No, bro, they're gonna be like, listen, y'all gotta write a book about this shit.
Well, you know, it's funny. I am writing a book, so.
Yeah. Oh, well, hey, listen.
Thank you for watching part 1 of our journey, Meant to Be.
Please like and subscribe to this podcast.
Let's talk about it.
Tune in for part 2 this Sunday, June 30th, 2024. Thank you for watching.
See y'all Sunday.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching the show. Please subscribe, click on the bio, support the show. Thank you so much again. We'll see you next week for another amazing episode on Let's Talk About It.